Hi guys, this is Cryptonaire right here. I'm gonna do some quick predictions on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. August 1st is fast approaching, and we are all anxious as to see what is going to happen with all these cryptocurrencies. And well, BCC is here, so we might as well all welcome it into the cryptocurrency world and see how it goes from here. I don't know what people said about Ethereum Classic when it happened, but Ethereum Classic is still here. It has grown from $1 to $20 or whatever, and people are making money off of it, I believe. And so yeah, we wish everybody good luck in these events that are going to be happening quite shortly, and all those who are holding BTC to try to get your hands on some BCC. Good luck, and I hope you've done enough research about them so you know how to get your BCC, and we see how it goes. So yeah, straight to the point, I'm going to be doing predictions for Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. And let's start with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is doing very well now. It stayed around between 3,000 and 2,000 for a very long time, for about 6 weeks, or more, and that's good. That shows some stability. But unfortunately, I don't want to be I don't want to be the carrier of bad news or whatever, but reality is reality, and you got to face it. I'm hurt to find out some of these things, some of these observations that I've made. I was quite disappointed because I also want to see Bitcoin keep going up to all these new highs, but the truth is we are going to go down. Bitcoin is going to go down to 1,500 in the next 6 weeks. Now I'm going to try to explain as we go further in the video, but I just want people to know that when we say an asset is in a bubble, well, I don't know about the outside world and the stock market and all of this. When we say they're in a bubble, perhaps we mean it's totally crashing out of the market and all of that. Maybe that's what it means there. But in cryptocurrency, when we say a currency is in a bubble, it just means we are going back to the previous high to test it. It doesn't mean Bitcoin is going to go from $3,000 to $1. No way. The least I am seeing for Bitcoin is $1,000 when we go down. That should be the bottom. But we will go down, and it's imminent. Is way overdue for us to go down. If $3,000 is the peak of this bubble, we should be going down. And all these retesting of highs that we are seeing are just bootstraps, and the last time we will be seeing some of these highs before we go down. So do not get too hyped, and if I were you, if I was anybody, I would wait for Bitcoin to break $3,000 before I buy more, because that way I know perhaps we are going higher. But that's what I don't think will happen. If 3,000 is the peak, which I believe, we should be going down because we are in a bubble. I'll be explaining very soon. And Litecoin, I think Litecoin should be seeing $100. It's very possible. I'm seeing Litecoin in the channel. Let me pull up the chart here. Yeah, Litecoin is in a very fine uptrend channel, and we should be seeing $100 if it stays in this channel, because we've been above the 50-day moving average, the 100-day moving average. We've been above all those moving averages for a very long time, and we could see $100. Ethereum is the I think Ethereum is behaving in its own way, but right now, from the weekly chart, we are in between the 7-day moving average on top of the candlesticks, and the 21 moving average is right beneath the candlestick. So we have to break one of these moving averages to know which direction we'll be going. I think we will be going up from my bubble analysis, I'm going to be using bubbles, yeah, because that's what all these currencies, most of them are going to. I don't think Litecoin is necessarily in a bubble because it's showing quite different characteristics. But Ethereum seems to be experiencing a bubble, and this is its first bubble, so we don't have much to dwell on so far as Ethereum is concerned. So I'm going to be using the Bitcoin bubble to try to see where we should expect Ethereum to go at what particular point in time. So looking at, with that in mind, I'm thinking that Ethereum should be going to retest its June highs of 400. We could see 340, before we come all the way back down to make a low or make a bottom before we start to go up again. So yeah, let me go straight into explaining my positions. Let's start with Bitcoin. Good. Bitcoin, let me try to clear this first. As I was saying, being in a bubble in the cryptocurrency world is not a bad thing. We need to get that out of our minds. When we say, a coin is in a bubble, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to die out. In fact, I think for most of these top currencies, that is actually a good thing, because it just means we are going back to the previous high to, test that high as a support before we can go on to make very new highs. For example, when we got to $1,000 in 2014, we went all the way back down to 200, which was the previous high in 2013. We tested that level and stayed at that level for a while. Then we started going back up, and when we broke the $1,000 in 2017, that's when we made this new high of $3,000. It is in the same vein that we are looking at this new high and all these price actions, to mimic what has gone on in the past. And if that is the case, we should be coming down to $1,000, the $1,000 area, from $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. Any of those figures is possible before we can go back up to break 3,000 and go on to the higher highs. Bitcoin is definitely going to go to 5,000. It's going to go to 10,000. It's going to go to all these highs, but it will not go in a straight line. There will be pullbacks. Pullback simply means, just like a catapult. You cannot, the farther, you pull your catapult, the farther you could go, the farther the stone could go. You understand? It's in the same vein that these currencies are behaving. In order for them to make new highs, they have to pull back to test their previous highs. Those previous highs have to act as support. We have to stabilize the price before we can move on to make new highs. Now, let me be, straightforward, and let's go straight into let me see here. Let's go straight into trying to show you exactly what I'm saying. Now, I'm going to start with Bitcoin. Since I'm using bubbles throughout my analysis, I just want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And so we are going to start all the way from the beginning. I'm pulling my charts all the way to 2010. That is how far I can go here. But let me first of all show you this. Okay, good. So this is what we will be looking at. This is what happens in a bubble. There is this takeoff. Everybody joins in. Smart money is invested. Institutional investors come in. Media attention. There's enthusiasm. Everybody buys in. We get to a peak. Then we start falling. Then I think this is where we are in Bitcoin, where we go back up to test the highs, and most people think, oh, we are returning to normal. only to realize that it's just the beginning of the fall, and we, come crashing down right to where we started from. So this is what we will be keeping in mind as we go along. Okay, good. So this was in 2010. Bitcoin moved from 7 cents. This is the price, from 7 cents all the way up to 50 cents, and came crashing down to these levels, about I'll say 20 cents or so. Then we broke this high of 50 cents in 2011, and we kept going up and made a new high of $30 in 2011, 30th May 2011. We made a new high of $30 from okay, I think I might have skipped this. So let's just look at this. Good. After breaking the 50 cent high, we made a new high of $1, which was double the price, the previous high's price. Then we came crashing down to test that previous high of 50 cents right here. We tested it and we went back up to break the dollar. Then from the dollar, we went all the way up to $30. That was our new high in this bubble. Then we came crashing down. Now, I'll be showing, some specific patterns later on, but I just want you to look at how price came all the way from $30 to around $12 and went all the way back up to about $24. That was, look, the high was 32 or so, and we came all the way down to $12. I think lower, like $10. And then we went all the way back up to $24. Anybody, will be tempted to think, oh, we are going back up to break this previous high of $30 and continue going up. But because we were in a bubble, we capped right here and started falling again. And we crashed all the way back down to, we crashed all the way back down to where we started from, around $2, right here. Now this is where it gets interesting. I'm sure you are also noticing that when we crash, we don't go below the previous high. When we crash, we stay right above the previous high. Good. Now we keep going. Then we break the previous high of $30 right here on February 2013. We break that previous high and make a new high of $207, $267, I mean, in April 2013, just about 3 months or so, just like it's happening in 2017. Then we crashed all the way down to $63 again. We went all the way back up to $167. People thinking, oh, we are going back up. Anybody would look at this as an uptrend. Anybody will look at this as an uptrend, especially when, these moving averages start to cross each other and parabolic SARS starts to move down. Anybody will be tempted to think this is an uptrend. So we are going back up. But because this is a bubble model, we just go back up as though we are returning to normal, only to, crash back down. Then we go all the way back up to break the high of 267 after crashing. We break that high of 267. We make a new high of $1,084. And now this is the most recent bubble formation in the Bitcoin chart. And that's what I'll be referring to the most. But I just showed you all the bubbles that have been happening since 2010 for you to know that 2017 is not going to be any different. We are going to go all the way back down to the previous high so that we can stabilize that area then when we are moving back up, breaking 3,000 will not be an issue. And I'm thinking, looking at how, prices double after the price after the high is broken, possibly we should be seeing $10,000 Bitcoin in 2019. Because even if it were just to double, the least we will be seeing is 6,000. And this is the case where mostly when the previous high is broken, there is tripling of price. In fact, the recent one, when the $1,000 price was broken, it tripled, and we saw 3,000. In 2013 and 14, we broke the price of 200 and made a new high of $1,000. The price multiplied by 5 times. So going by that alone, the least we can expect after we break 3,000 is 6,000 and above. But let's come back to this model. So in 2013, this is what happened with Bitcoin. And the interesting thing is, the chart has been so consistent since April and May that you just can't help but to think that the rest is going to go the same way. So we break the high of 267 here, we make a new high of $1,000, then we come crashing down to, I'll say, about $500. Or even, let me ignore these first 3 crashes, because I want to try to limit the number of times we came down and went up. But the most important thing you should realize is we never broke the high. The highest we came after going, we crashed all the way to 385, around here. And just look at this. We went all the way back to 940, almost back to the high. Anybody would be tempted to think we are going back up. This is the return to normal phase in the bubble. This is what is happening here. Everybody thinks, oh, we are going back to normal. It will break 3,000 someday, but not now. You understand? Not now. We should go back to test the previous high. So yeah, this is what is happening in 2013. We are here. We go all the way back. And I'm using the daily chart for a reason, because I want to show you specifically and exactly how the patterns are being repeated. So right here, we cap at 940, then we start crashing down. And this is very interesting to note that when we crashed, now I can use the weekly chart for you to see. When we crashed in 2013, look at where we bottomed. We bottomed right around the previous high of 200, and 50 or 267. Between 200 and 250, we bottomed right there. Then we started going back up. Then we broke the previous high of $1,000 in 2017 and made a new high of $3,000. So now let's go to 2017 daily chart. Now, tell me you do not see similarities between what is happening here and what I just showed you in 2013. Everything is being repeated to the exact bar, like bar for bar. Look how many times we crashed before going back up. Almost similar to what happened in 2013. And now this is what I'm calling as the last high we are going to see before we go down to the 1,500, 1,200, or perhaps even $1,000, area. You understand? So if everything is happening as I've showed you, this price, Bitcoin is supposed to go back down to 1,500. And I'm thinking it should happen in the next, 6 weeks to 2 months. We should be seeing those kind of figures in Bitcoin. And I don't think we will go below those figures. I don't think we will see $600 Bitcoin. No way. Because the bubble is just to go back to the previous high, to retest, where we started from, where we came from. And this particular bubble did not start from $1. It just started from $1,000. You understand? So that is what we are going to test. Those are the areas we are going to be testing. And after testing and solidifying that area, we will now be free. There will now be enough space for the market to go all the way back up to make totally new highs. You understand? And that is when we will see the 5,000s and the 10,000s, and it's going to take time. So I want to see Bitcoin go up, but unfortunately, this is what the chart is saying. And, you know, this is what is going to happen. You understand? This is where we are in the weekly charts. We are parabolic size still above. You know, I think we should, and look at the 50-day moving average, is still beneath, you know, 1,278. And that is one of the major support, you know, moving averages. So even as this moving average comes up, this is going to take at least a month or two to get to the 1,006 area. So if the price gets to that area and it's going to bounce off the 50 moving average, it's just going to bounce off and go to the areas of around 2,000, 2,200 and come, you know, crashing back down, just as we are seeing in Ethereum right now. So that's what I'm thinking. This is what I'm looking at, and this is what I believe is going to be happening. As I've said, cryptocurrencies being in a bubble is not a bad thing. We are just going back down to test the previous highs so that we can go further up. That is all that is happening. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sell off my Bitcoin and hold, you know, and hold fiat till, you know, it comes back down to the 1,005 areas. Then I could buy back in. Now, when you look at Ethereum, as I was saying, Ethereum, this will be the first bubble that Ethereum is experiencing. And so I have to use what has happened in Bitcoin to try to understand what is happening in Ethereum. And by that analysis, we peaked at 400. Now, if I called Bitcoin, Ethereum a bubble at 400, and we started falling down, people will be like, oh. But here we are. Ethereum has just taken the lead, you know. So Bitcoin is going to follow suit very soon. So yeah, we capped at 400. That was where we peaked, and we came all the way down. We tested the 50-day moving average. The 21-day moving average acted as resistance. We broke the 50 moving average. Now the 100-day moving average is acting as support, and the 50 is acting as resistance. In the daily chart, whichever of these two gets broken first, that's where we are going. Now, from what I just showed you in the Bitcoin chart, I'm thinking that we should go back up to around 340 before we come down to make the bottom, unless this 263 here is that high that I'm seeing in the Bitcoin bubbles. If that is the case, then we still have the right to go down to make an Ethereum bottom. The earlier we do that, the better, because if we're able to do that faster, we'll be able to come back up to break the 400 and go into the thousands, and that, you know, everybody will be happy. When you look at the weekly charts, we are in between the 7-day moving average and the 21-day moving average. The 7-day moving average acting as resistance, 21-day moving average acting as support. So one of them has to be broken for us to know where it's going. I am suggesting, or I am thinking, from the Bitcoin style of, you know, playing out, that we will see a 340 before we see the bottom. But if that does not happen and 263 is the actual high I'm thinking of, then we should see the bottom, you know, quite sooner. And when we do, voila, we will be seeing a new high of about $1,000 very soon. And yeah, and Litecoin is, you know, an interesting one, because it's behaving totally differently. Because let me try to put this in full screen. Well, let me show you this first. This is what happened in 2013. Let me just go to weekly. Good. This is what happened to Litecoin in 2013. We came all the way from here. We made a new high of 46 and we came crashing. Look, this was crazy. We made that new high in just 2 weeks, bro. This is the weekly chart. This is one bar. This is another bar. In just 2 weeks, we had already made a high. And we crashed down to where we started from. And now, a similar thing is happening. But this is what I was referring to as I don't think Litecoin is necessarily in a bubble. It's still showing bubble characteristics, but what I mean is it's been behaving quite differently from Ethereum and Bitcoin in the sense that it did not just shoot up. If you look at this very carefully, it's a careful uptrend. Look at what is happening in Litecoin. Unlike, Ethereum. Let me show you what was happening in Ethereum. Look, we just went up. From is this May, I think? Yeah, from April. Between April and June, we had already made a high. But Litecoin was behaving totally differently around the same time. Look, while Ethereum between April and June was going all the way up, it increased from around $98 to $400 from just April to June. Look at what was happening in Litecoin. Litecoin was actually in this triangle. Look, this is what was happening between May or April and June when Ethereum and Bitcoin were just shooting up. This is what was happening in Litecoin. It stayed between 36 and about $20 for a very long time. It only broke out of this triangle when Ethereum started falling down. Look, from June, Ethereum started falling down from June till now. And in that same period that Ethereum is falling, look at what is happening in Litecoin. It's actually trading above, this support or resistance line of 36. And it has stayed there all this while Ethereum is going down. While Ethereum is going down, Litecoin has been making new highs. So this is what makes me think that if these trend lines and these moving averages, we are still above the 50-day moving average and the 100-day moving average. Clearly, if everything goes as has been happening, Litecoin can still continue going up and make new highs. We could see $75, we could see $100 before we fall to test the previous high of $46. And that is another reason why I don't think Litecoin should be falling anytime soon, because in 2013, the high that it made was $46 or $42, whatever. It was around this figure. Now, as it is typical in bubbles or cryptocurrency bubbles, we should break this high and make a high that is at least twice the price of the previous high. Twice to 3 times. You saw it in the Bitcoin bubbles that I showed you. From $1 we saw $30. From $30 we saw 200. From 200 we saw 1,000. From 1,000 we are seeing 3,000. Litecoin cannot break $42 and just cap at 56. It just doesn't look, I don't know. So I'm thinking we could see $100. Then that is where the bubble will peak, and we can start coming down to test this previous high of 40 something dollars as the support. So that is why I think Litecoin could still go up and could still make $100. Yeah, so that's it for now. I'm just going to try to look at Litecoin and Ethereum individually as I did Bitcoin, so you understand better what I'm looking at, because this is what the charts are saying. I believe in fundamental analysis too. I try to listen to news and all of that, and really think about it. All what is going on on August 1st seem to be going right in this direction. If things go bad for Bitcoin, we will be seeing the crash I'm talking about. And while Bitcoin is falling, I'm predicting that Litecoin and Ethereum and all these altcoins will be going up, right? That is why I feel Ethereum can go to 340 and Litecoin can go to 100, and all these altcoins can go up while Bitcoin is falling. Because when it falls and stays at 1,500 or whatever, then they can start behaving independently, because then Bitcoin's price will become stable. It will stay at around, it will stay around that figure for a while, so all the other coins can start acting on their own. So yeah, this is what I think, and this is why, you know, I'm calling these numbers. And yeah, just keep in mind, the price crashing or we being in a bubble is not a bad thing. We are just going back to test the previous highs. It's a pullback, just so that we can come back up to break this 3,000 and make 10,000. If we continue going up to 10,000, it just won't make absolutely no sense. We are not building trees here. We are, you know, the market must make sense. You understand? That is why we have all these RSI and stochastic. That is why we have what is called overbought and oversold. The price just can't keep going up. Like, yo, it should at some point have a rest. It should have a break. That's what we call it. And after that break or that rest, we can, you know, go back up and continue going up. So the only thing that would make me change my mind about Bitcoin right now is when we break 3,000, which I'm not expecting. So thanks for watching, and see you guys soon. I'm going to do more videos very soon. I'm going to do one on altcoins and why I think you should be buying altcoins now, because they will be going up pretty soon. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Cryptonaire1, and you can follow me on Steemit at Blanks, BLANKS. And let's get, you know, to discussing. Let's share ideas and see where trading and investments take us. Thank you very much.